But all that said, Judge, this journey really starts with an ethos. What is it about the times, ecosystem, civil rights movements, whatever, motivated you to become a lawyer, one, and two, to believe that from that position, you could become a judge? What were the circumstances going on in Baton Rouge and Louisiana at the time you were coming out? And I know you're 21 years old,
Like Jack Benny,
but you've
39.
been there a long time.
Yeah.
So take your time, sir.
Well, a backdrop all the way to when I was 9 years old, Brown versus Board of Education in 1954.
Mm.
There were the promises of Brown. In elementary school, you had our teachers saying to us, Brown versus Board of Education, a lot of things are going to change. You'll be going to better schools and all that. And that didn't happen.
Mm.
We went through, after Brown v. Board, on to the 60s, the 1964 Civil Rights Act, 1965 Voters' Rights Act, all of these things, started to bubble up in you, and you have been told that things are going to change. And as a youngster, you didn't see those changes. And when I mentioned in the book about, me and some of the guys sitting on the bench in Valley Park at Owens Grocery, we were not oblivious to what was happening. And we would sit there and talk about what we wanted to be, and how we were going to make things change. And so those things stuck with me. And I started working the neighborhood service center. There was a community advancement was in Baton Rouge, which was part of the uh, President Johnson's war on poverty. And I worked at the neighborhood service center as a volunteer, trying to help people to, achieve certain things, in the neighborhood, get the neighborhood cleaned up and so forth. And that stuck with me. And then uh, I have a cousin, Alex Pitcher, who was a lawyer. He was one of the first black lawyers in Baton Rouge. And Alex used to come by, and I used to marvel at, the attention Alex got from my dad and his brothers and so forth. And Alex was an attorney for the NAACP. And so I used to listen to that stuff, and that's, gee whiz, I want to be like Alex. And yeah, those things kind of like were the seeds that, was kept bubbling and growing inside of me and making me, so I mean, so I want to be a lawyer. And so going on from high school at McKinley to Southern University afterwards, off to the Army and back. And, I took a job with community advancement, working as a neighborhood worker, was a community organizer effectively, and did community organizing work. So, I wanted to be a change agent. I really did. And so, I did a little stab at graduate school after the Army. And, but that thing about being a lawyer just kept in the back of my mind. And my darling wife would not let me forget that, hey, look, you said you want to be a lawyer. When are you going to start? you know, so, off to law school. Um, and in law school at the president student bar, I passed the bar exam on my first try.
That's
Uh,
unique.
it was back during that time. It was. And matter of fact, I was the only black to pass, only person in my class to pass the bar on the first time at that time.
How many people were in your class at
Had
that
had
time?
had about 30. Had about 30. It was law school then was very small. Um, and but passing the bar on the first rip was a big deal.
Sir, was that for anybody?
For basically for black graduates from Southern. Um, for times we went from having one to pass, two to pass, nobody would pass. That went on over the years. But with the blessings of the Almighty, I was able to pass on the first try.